I think that to start the case, it's the documents for me, right? Because, I tell people all the time, I bring receipts, right? Like, they are irrefutable. So when we start to talk about things such as it's about following the money. Mm-hmm. This is a big money situation. Remember, the president has said, this is a Democratic hoax.
It's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation. And I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country. And that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit.
The stage lights of the primetime political debate show blazed down with an intensity that matched the heated arguments unfolding on set. On one side sat Mark Kingston, a seasoned political strategist and one of the Trump family's fiercest media defenders. He came across like a relentless bulldog, loudly standing up for the administration while dismissing the accusations as nothing more than a weak partisan witch hunt. Across from him, a Democratic strategist struggled to make their voice heard, constantly being cut off as the debate spiraled. The show carried on in its usual loud and predictable fashion, unfolding exactly as Kingston intended. He dominated the conversation, twisting every question about ethics into another attack on the media and the so-called radical left. At the far end of the panel sat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who had remained mostly quiet. She observed the uproar with calm, measured patience, carefully waiting for the perfect moment to step in.
All of these actions are exactly what Trump has done since he's taken office. Make no mistake, Trump is weaponizing his idea of free speech to force folks and companies to become his political puppets to promote his propaganda.
The host, attempting to pull the debate back from the shouting, finally directed the discussion toward her. Congresswoman Crockett, Mr. Kingston insists this is nothing more than political theater. Can you identify anything concrete that rises above partisanship? Before she could answer, Kingston scoffed loudly, cutting her off. Here we go again, the great nothing burger, just more vague attacks on character. Congresswoman, with all due respect, the American people are sick of baseless insinuations. If you've got real evidence of wrongdoing, put it on the table. Otherwise, stop wasting everyone's time. Show us something real. He leaned back in his chair with his arms folded, wearing a smug, challenging smile. In his mind, he had thrown down the ultimate dare. Either she produced hard evidence, or she had nothing at all.
VP and key Trump administration officials expected to discuss the Epstein files fallout. Vance now claiming that meeting was fake news, despite NBC News and multiple other outlets reporting it was set to take place.
Jasmine Crockett locked eyes with him, and for a moment, the entire studio seemed to fall silent. "All right, Mark," she began, her voice carrying a calm but commanding weight that cut through the tension. "Let's talk about something real." She reached into the briefcase at her side, but instead of producing a financial statement or a stack of leaked emails, she withdrew a single notarized document. Its blue legal cover immediately signaled that this was something different, something official. Holding it up so the cameras could capture it, she said, "This is a sworn affidavit from a former senior accountant at the Trump Foundation, someone who served there for 3 decades. Kingston's confident smirk faltered, the first crack in his armor. Jasmine didn't rush, her tone measured and unwavering. "We're not here tonight to debate foreign contracts or complicated financial maneuvers. We're here to discuss something much more straightforward. We're here to talk about sick children."
Donald Trump's administration has been cover-up after cover-up after cover-up. It started with the pardoning of the January 6th insurrectionists, a cover-up of the dark past of his first administration. Of course, we've seen a non-stop cover-up of the Jeffrey Epstein files, and now everyone in Trump's White House is working to cover up his health. He is failing both physically and mentally, and they are doing everything they possibly can to either distract us or lie to us. But the pictures are clear. Donald Donald Trump's notable disappearance is clear, and how his family, notably, is reacting is very clear. And that's where Melania comes in, blowing up today the scandal around Trump's health.
A cold wave swept through the studio as Jasmine began to read. According to this affidavit, she said, her eyes steady on the page, on at least 4 separate occasions, funds publicly pledged to pediatric cancer wards and children's hospitals were secretly redirected by the family. These funds were not used for medicine or research. They were used to pay off private legal settlements. The host audibly gasped. The Democratic strategist looked visibly shaken, and Kingston snapped upright in his seat, his expression locked in shock. Jasmine's voice remained calm as she read word for word. I was personally instructed to transfer $850,000 from the Foundation's Children's Health Initiative to a law firm in Delaware. The payment was to settle a lawsuit connected to a failed real estate venture that carried personal embarrassment for the family. In our public filings, this transaction was disguised as a grant for hospital infrastructure. We were taking money meant for children battling cancer and using it to clean up the family's private problems. Lowering the affidavit, Jasmine fixed her gaze on Mark Kingston. The fierce bulldog who had barked so loudly minutes before was gone. In his place sat a man pale with shock, his mouth slightly open, unable to form words. For the first time in his long career as the family's public defender, he had nothing to say. There was no spin that could justify stealing from sick children. Jasmine's eyes shifted from Kingston to the rest of the panel, and then directly into the camera, addressing millions of viewers at home. This isn't about politics. This isn't about right versus left. This is about right versus wrong. This is the truth that's been hidden, an ongoing pattern of corruption so morally bankrupt that it should silence anyone, no matter their party. This is the reality behind the mask of wealth and power. The broadcast ended with the camera lingering on Kingston's stricken face, a defender silenced at last by a truth so damning that even the most loyal spin machine could not find the words.